Have you ever noticed the quiet, heavy ache that settles in your chest when you have given everything to something, only to be entirely overlooked? You put in the hours, you made the sacrifices, you carried the weight of the work quietly, believing that if you simply tried hard enough, if you just proved your dedication, the world would finally see it. You prepared for the moment. But then, the opportunity is handed to someone else. The door closes, and you are left standing outside in the silence, holding the invisible burden of all your unseen effort. But here is the truth. What if the deepest pain of this moment is not actually the lost opportunity? What if the true source of your suffering is the belief that this single rejection somehow determines your worth as a human being? If you have ever felt invisible, exhausted by trying to prove yourself, or crushed because one difficult day overshadowed years of silent dedication, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see your own value forever. Buddhist wisdom teaches us a gentle but profound reality. Much of our suffering does not come directly from the events of our lives. It comes from how tightly we attach our inner identity to those external events. When we pour our energy into a goal, we often make a quiet, dangerous bargain with the world. We tell ourselves, if I am chosen, I am valuable. If I am passed over, I am not. We hand the keys to our inner peace to people who only see a fraction of our journey. Imagine a mountain stream carving its way through a deep, quiet forest. The water flows naturally, nourishing the roots of ancient trees and smoothing the rough stones beneath its surface. It does this work continuously, day and night. Now, does the stream lose its value if nobody stops to witness its journey? Does the water suddenly become worthless, simply because a traveler chose to walk a different path and did not stay to drink? Of course not. Its nature is still pure. Its depth remains unchanged. Yet, in our modern lives, we rarely treat ourselves with this same grace. We act as though our human worth depends entirely on who is watching and who is judging. We measure our entire existence by the promotions we receive, the validation we are handed, and the visible milestones we achieve. When we are passed over, especially on a day when we were quietly struggling, when our performance was hampered by exhaustion, anxiety, or sadness, the ego screams in agony. It tells you that your effort was wasted. It whispers the cruelest lie of all. You are simply not good enough. Ask yourself right now, whose voice are you listening to in the quiet of your own mind? Are you listening to the steady truth of your own inherent worth, or the loud, demanding voice of a world that only values you? When you are perfectly productive, pause, breathe, let that sink in. Observe this feeling of rejection without letting it become who you are. You are allowed to feel disappointed. You are allowed to grieve the door that did not open for you. That is human. But you must never let a closed door convince you that the house of your soul is empty. You are not a machine built to perform flawlessly every single day. The outcome of one difficult day is just a passing cloud. It is not the entire sky. But letting go of that heavy, dark cloud requires us to look at the storm we carry inside. And understanding why the weight of a difficult day feels so impossible to set down is exactly where the next truth begins. Here is a quiet truth few people are willing to accept about failure. The harshest judgment we face does not come from the people who overlooked us. It comes from the unforgiving jury we hold inside our own minds. Think about the day it happened. Perhaps you were exhausted. Perhaps your mind was heavy with personal worries, silent anxieties, or the simple, overwhelming weight of just trying to keep your life together. When the moment arrived to show your capability, you stumbled. Your voice shook, your focus slipped, or your energy faded, and now you are punishing yourself for being human. You replay that single difficult day on an endless, painful loop. You tell yourself that if you had just pushed a little harder, if you had just been sharper, everything would be different. You judge your entire journey by the one moment you lost your footing. In Buddhist thought, one of the deepest causes of suffering is our inability to accept impermanence. We take a single, fleeting moment of difficulty and we freeze it in time. We turn a temporary state exhaustion, confusion, or fear into a permanent identity. Buddhism reminds us that all things are in constant motion. Your thoughts, your energy, and your emotional weather are always changing. To judge your entire worth by your performance on one difficult day is like believing the sun has died simply because it is raining. Imagine a vast, open sky. Most days, the sky is clear, allowing the sun to shine brilliantly on everything below. But occasionally, a dark, violent storm rolls in. The wind howls, the rain pours, and the clouds completely block the light. Yet, does the sky lose its vastness because of the storm? Does it panic and try to fight the rain? No. The sky simply makes space for the storm to exist, knowing that the weather will eventually pass. The sky is not the storm. It is simply the space where the storm is happening. In your modern life, the pressure to succeed demands that you be a clear sky every single day. We are expected to walk into critical meetings, high-stakes interviews, and important conversations with flawless execution, even when we are quietly battling a storm inside. When we fail to meet that impossible standard, we feel a deep, burning shame. We feel humiliated because the world only measured our reign, entirely blind to the vast, beautiful sky of our daily dedication. Think about your own life. Why are you allowing your most exhausted moment to become your permanent identity? Would you ever judge a dear friend this harshly if they were carrying the same invisible burden? What if you simply forgave yourself for not being perfect on a day when you were just trying to survive? Pause. Breathe. Observe the memory of that day without letting it pull you under. You do not have to defend your stumble. You do not have to feel ashamed of your exhaustion. Let the difficult day simply be a difficult day. It was an event that happened to you. It is not who you are. You are allowed to have days where you are not at your best. You are allowed to be tired. Because true peace is not found in executing an endless streak of perfect performances. It is found in realizing that your core value remains entirely untouched by your temporary struggles. But releasing the shame of a difficult day is only one part of the journey. We must also understand why we wanted the outcome so desperately in the first place, and this is where the next truth begins. What if the tighter you hold onto a specific outcome, the more power you give it to destroy your peace? Here is a difficult truth. When we are working tirelessly toward a goal, we rarely just want the goal itself. We want the feeling we believe the goal will give us. We want the relief of finally being chosen. We want the quiet safety of being recognized. We build an entire imaginary future inside our minds, resting solely on one fragile foundation. They must say yes. And when they say no, the pain we feel is not just the loss of a job, a role, or an opportunity. It is the sudden shattering of the identity we had already attached to it. In Buddhist wisdom, there is a core teaching that sounds simple, but takes a lifetime to understand. Attachment is the root of suffering. This does not mean you should not care. It does not mean you should avoid working hard or having ambition. It means that suffering arises the moment you demand, that the universe deliver exactly what you want, exactly when you want it. The ego demands certainty. It insists that your human value is completely tied to the final result. But non-attachment is the quiet realization that you are only responsible for the depth of your effort, not the final outcome. Imagine standing beneath a grand, ancient tree in the middle of spring. Its branches are covered in beautiful, fragrant blossoms. Suddenly, a strong wind sweeps through the valley. Does the tree clench its branches, desperately trying to hold on to every single petal? Does it view the falling blossoms as a failure of its own worth? No. The tree simply allows the wind to take what it takes. It knows that its true strength does not lie in the fragile petals, but in the deep, quiet roots that anchor it to the earth. In our modern lives, we are taught to cling to our blossoms. We grip our desires so tightly that our hands begin to ache. We tie our inner peace to getting a specific promotion, a specific response, or a specific validation from our peers. We believe that if we just acquire that one external marker of success, the quiet anxiety in our chest will finally disappear. But an external win can never heal an internal doubt. When you attach your worth to an outcome you cannot control, you make yourself a prisoner to other people's decisions. Ask yourself right now, what are you truly grieving? Are you mourning the actual opportunity, or are you mourning the feeling of validation you thought it would bring? What are you afraid will happen if you simply let the outcome go? Pause. Breathe. Notice how tightly you are gripping the memory of what you wanted. Stop trying to force the door open. You do not need to hold on to the disappointment to prove that your effort was real. You can let the desire go, just as the tree lets the blossoms fall, knowing your roots are still strong. Do your part. Pour love into your work, and then release the outcome. Because peace is not found in controlling the wind. It is found in trusting your roots. But realizing that we cling to outcomes is only the surface of the wound. We must also question why we need the world to applaud us in the first place. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The illusion of worldly validation. What if the applause you are so desperately chasing is the very thing keeping you trapped? Here is the truth few people want to face. We spend our entire lives building a version of ourselves designed purely for the eyes of others. You work tirelessly, not just to do good work, but to be told that you did good work. You wait for the nod of approval from a manager, the praise of a mentor, or the recognition of your peers. And when they look right past you, it feels as though your effort never existed. We live in a constant state of auditioning for our own lives, waiting for someone else to hand us the permission to feel proud. When that approval is withheld, the silence is deafening. In Buddhist thought, relying on the external world for our internal peace is a guaranteed path to suffering. If your sense of worth is handed to you by someone else, it can be taken away by them just as easily. The ego thrives on comparison and external praise. It creates an endless hunger that can never be truly satisfied. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us that your fundamental nature is already whole. You do not need to accumulate praise to be complete. Imagine a still, deep lake perfectly reflecting the bright, full moon. The reflection is beautiful, shimmering on the surface of the water for everyone to see. But what happens when heavy clouds roll in and completely block the moon from view? Does the lake suddenly disappear? Does the water lose its depth, its stillness, or its true nature? No. The lake remains exactly what it has always been. It was never the reflection. The reflection was just a passing light. In our modern lives, we confuse ourselves with the reflection. We believe our true identity is the promotion, the job title, the public recognition, or the way we are perceived in our workplace. When a door is closed in your face and your hard work is ignored by those in charge, you feel like the moon has been covered. You feel entirely empty. But the worldly validation you seek is merely light bouncing off the surface. It is not your depth. It is not your substance. If you rely on an institution, a boss, or a committee to tell you who you are, you will always live in fear of their silence. Think about your own life. How much of your pain right now is because you lost a genuine opportunity? and how much is because you lost the applause you thought would finally make you feel safe? Are you building your self-worth on the solid ground of your own integrity, or on the shifting opinions of people who only see a fraction of who you are? Pause. Breathe. Observe the craving for approval without following it. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. You do not need their permission to be proud of your own journey. You do not have to chase what is already leaving. Return to your own depth. Acknowledge your own unseen effort in the quiet of your own heart, because peace is not found in convincing the world of your value. It is found in no longer needing the world to see it. But stepping away from the need for applause brings us face to face with the reality of our own silent growth. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. The wisdom of the blooming lotus. What if the darkest, heaviest moments of your life are not burying you, but actually planting you? Here is a truth we often fight against. When we face rejection, when the door slams shut on an opportunity we poured our soul into, we view it as a dead end. We look at our struggles, our exhaustion, and the unfairness of being overlooked, and we see them as proof that our journey has failed. You feel stuck in the dirt. You feel weighed down by the mess of a difficult day and a broken hope. It feels as though all your unseen effort was simply swallowed by the ground, leaving you completely empty. In Buddhist wisdom, growth does not happen in perfect, sterile conditions. True transformation requires friction. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is found in the symbol of the lotus flower. The lotus does not grow in clear, pristine, comfortable water. It requires the heavy, murky mud to bloom. The mud is not a punishment. It is the very nourishment the flower needs to rise and open. Imagine a lotus seed buried deep at the bottom of a dark, stagnant pond. It is entirely surrounded by thick mud, entirely unseen by the world above. For a long time, nothing seems to be happening. The water is cold. The pressure is immense. If the seed had a mind, it might believe it was completely forgotten. It might believe the darkness was its permanent home. Yet, in the quiet, unseen depths, the seed is doing exactly what it was meant to do. It is gathering strength. It uses the heavy, dirty mud as its foundation, slowly pushing upward through the murky water until it finally breaks the surface, revealing a beautiful, unblemished flower that remains entirely untouched by the dirt it came from. In our modern lives, we hate the mud. We want the beautiful bloom without the quiet struggle. We expect our careers, our personal lives, and our daily efforts to exist in perfectly clean water. When you are passed over for a role, when your hard work goes unrecognized by leadership, you feel like you are suffocating in the dark. You look at others who seem to be blooming effortlessly in the sunlight, and you feel terribly behind in life. The pressure to succeed makes you believe that being in the mud means you are defective, but you are forgetting the nature of your own journey. This rejection, this heavy feeling of being unseen, is your mud. It is not here to destroy you. It is here to give your roots something real to hold on to. A success won too easily often lacks the resilience to survive a true storm. The internal depth you are building right now, in the quiet dark of being overlooked, is exactly what will sustain you when you finally reach the light. Think about that. Ask yourself right now, are you letting this rejection convince you that you are permanently buried, or can you see it as the quiet, necessary soil required for your next season of growth? What if you are simply gathering strength in the unseen depths? Pause, breathe, stop fighting the mud. Feel the weight of the disappointment without trying to escape it immediately. Let the darkness be a temporary resting place, not a final destination. You are allowed to be in the messy, unseen stages of your life. Do not curse the dirt that is trying to feed your roots, because peace is not found in avoiding the mud. It is found in trusting the bloom. But to truly rise from the heavy mud of disappointment, we must stop clinging to the ghost of the opportunity we lost. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. Releasing the alternate reality. What if the heaviest burden you carry today is a life that does not actually exist? Here is a painful truth about losing something you deeply wanted. When we are overlooked for an opportunity, we do not just mourn the loss of a role, a title, or a specific milestone. We mourn the alternate reality we had already built in our minds. You imagine the peace you would have felt, the respect you would have earned, the struggles that would have finally been resolved. You replay your difficult day. On an endless loop, the fumbled answer, the tired presentation, the awkward pause, and you punish yourself, convinced that if you had just been slightly better, you would be living in that perfect timeline right now. You are trapped grieving a ghost. In Buddhist thought, the mind's tendency to abandon the present and live inside illusions is a primary source of our daily suffering. We leave the reality of right now to fight battles that are already over, or to chase futures that were never promised. Buddhism teaches us that there is no reality other than this exact breathing moment. To suffer over an alternate timeline is to suffer over a shadow. It is an attachment to a fantasy. Imagine a traveler who arrives in a grand, beautiful hallway filled with many doors. They walk up to one specific door, turn the handle, and find it firmly locked. Instead of taking a breath, stepping back, and exploring the rest of the hallway, they sit down on the floor in front of it. Days turn into weeks. They stare at the wood, rattling the handle, weeping over the beautiful room they believe is on the other side. They become so obsessed with forcing the locked door that they never notice the warm sunlight pouring in through the open windows behind them. They never see the other doors standing wide open just a few steps away. In our modern lives, we constantly become the traveler at the locked door. You stare so intensely at the promotion you did not get, the recognition you were denied, or the timeline that slipped through your fingers, that you completely abandon the life you actually have. You let the ghost of what could have been steal the vitality of what is. You spend hours trying to rewrite history in your head, hoping to magically undo a momentary stumble or a difficult day. But that alternate timeline is closed. The more energy you pour into a reality that does not exist, the more you starve the one that does. Ask yourself right now, how much of your current exhaustion is coming from fighting a reality you cannot change? Are you missing the sunlight in your actual life because you refuse to look away from a closed door? What are you still holding on to? Pause. Breathe. Bring your mind back to the room you are sitting in. You do not have to keep rattling the handle. You do not need to rewrite the past or punish yourself for not opening the lock. Let the alternate timeline dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Step back into the present moment, because peace is not found in perfectly designing the future or fixing the past. It is found in standing fully in the present. But stepping away from the locked door requires a profound, quiet softening of the heart. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. The practice of gentle acceptance. What if the most courageous thing you can do right now is to stop fighting your own pain? Here is a quiet, difficult truth. When we face the heavy sting of being overlooked, our immediate reaction is almost always resistance. We try to immediately fix the feeling. You tell yourself you should not care so much. You try to force yourself to get over it quickly, masking the disappointment with false positivity or throwing yourself blindly into the next task. Or worse, you turn the resistance inward, criticizing yourself for feeling hurt in the first place. You demand that your heart stop aching treating your natural human sorrow as if it were just another performance flaw to be corrected. In Buddhist wisdom, there is a profound teaching about the nature of pain. Buddhism reminds us that pain is a natural, unavoidable part of moving through the world, but suffering, the deep, lingering exhaustion of the soul, is created when we resist the pain. We shoot a second arrow into our own wound by judging ourselves for hurting. The practice of gentle acceptance is not about giving up. It is not about agreeing that you deserved to be overlooked. It is simply dropping your resistance to the present moment. It is allowing what is already here to just be here. Imagine holding a sharp, jagged stone in your hand. You are afraid of dropping it, so you grip it with all your might. But the tighter you clench your fist to control the stone, the deeper the sharp edges cut into your skin. You believe that by holding on so tightly, you are somehow managing the situation. But the moment you simply stop fighting, the moment you gently open your hand, the cutting stops. The stone is still there, resting quietly in your palm. The memory has not disappeared, but because you are no longer clenching around it, it can no longer bleed you dry. In our modern lives, we treat our lost opportunities and professional rejections exactly like that sharp stone. We grip the memory of that difficult day, analyzing every misspoken word, every tired moment, trying desperately to figure out exactly why we were not chosen. You believe that by obsessing over the failure, you are protecting yourself from ever making the same mistake again. But you are only cutting your own hands. The pressure to succeed convinces you that if you are not fighting your flaws, you are failing. But true strength is found in softening. Think about your own life. How tightly are you gripping the memory of this rejection? Are you exhausted from trying to control a past that has already happened? What would happen if you simply gave yourself permission to be a little disappointed today without trying to solve it? Pause. Breathe. Unclench your emotional fists. Observe the pain of being unseen, but do not close your hand around it. Let the feeling of disappointment simply rest in your open palm. You do not have to conquer your sadness today. You only have to sit with it gently. Let the storm pass without becoming the storm. Because peace is not the absence of pain, it is the absence of resistance. But once you finally open your hand and stop fighting the reality of this moment, what do you do with the quiet space that remains? And this is where the final truth begins. 8. Peace as the ultimate achievement. What if the quiet, heavy ache in your chest was never meant to break you, but to finally set you free? We began this journey by looking closely at the invisible burden of unseen effort. We explored the deep, hidden wound of being overlooked and the cruel lie that your fundamental human value is somehow dictated by your performance on a single difficult day. You have carried the weight of that closed door, punishing yourself for your exhaustion and believing that if you had just been perfect, the world would have finally validated your worth. But as we have walked through these truths, a different reality has emerged. We have seen that you are not the temporary storm of a bad day. You are the vast, open sky that holds it. You are not the fragile blossoms blowing in the wind. You are the deep, quiet roots anchoring the tree. You are not the fleeting reflection on the water, dependent on the light of others. You are the deep, still lake itself. In Buddhist wisdom, true liberation begins the moment you stop handing the keys of your self-worth over to the external world. The ego will always chase the next title, the next promotion, and the next open door, desperately believing that safety lives on the other side. But if your peace is conditional, if it only exists when you are chosen and instantly vanishes when you are overlooked, then it was never truly peace. It was merely a temporary distraction from your own inner fear. True achievement is not found in never failing. It is found in realizing that your soul remains entirely untouched by the failure. Imagine a solitary candle burning in a quiet, empty room. It casts a warm, steady, beautiful light, illuminating the walls and pushing back the darkness. Now, does the candle burn any less brightly, simply because there is no one in the room to applaud it? Does the flame suddenly doubt its own existence because an audience did not gather to witness its warmth? No. The candle burns because it is its very nature to give light. Its beauty and its purpose are entirely independent of who is watching. In your own life, your silent dedication, your continuous effort, and your quiet integrity are exactly like that flame. You do not lose your value simply because a door remained locked. You do not lose your right to be proud of yourself just because you stumbled on a day when you were exhausted, anxious, and deeply human. The people who overlooked you did not take your value away with them. They merely walked past a light they were not meant to sit beside. Think about your own life as you move forward from this moment. You no longer have to carry the heavy, exhausting armor of constant performance. You do not have to prove your right to exist to people who only see a fraction of your journey. Forgive yourself for the stumbling words, the tired eyes, and the imperfect execution. They were proof of your humanity, not your failure. Pause, breathe. Take one final look at the ghost of that lost opportunity and gently release it into the wind. You have done enough. You have carried this invisible burden long enough. It is time to return to yourself. It is time to let the quiet, unshakable power of your own self-respect be the only validation you ever truly need. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. Your worth was never up for debate.